Okay, we are here with Keshia, whose film is Audition Antics. So let's start off right off the bat with asking about the weirdest audition you've ever been to, because you literally just played out the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So tell me a bit about that. What's the weirdest audition you've ever gone to?
Weirdest audition I've been to was, I went to an open call, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, for girls with big butts. It was an open call for the face of a new, I think it was not necessarily a plastic surgery office, but like a cosmetic office, and they were looking for the new face to help promote part of their products. So the open call was literally women with big butts. And I was like, I have a big butt, I'm gonna go to this open call. Ridiculous. And I walk in and I get a call back, and I didn't even want to go to this call, and then it was just pretty funny that I'm like, all right, I'm at this audition, and looking around, and some women had some fake butts. That's all I gotta say.
I got it.
But that's probably the weirdest audition I've been to.
I gotcha. Now, when it comes to auditioning itself, a lot of times when we go to the festivals, we talk to filmmakers, but we also talk to actors about technique and things like that. So, you obviously made a movie, and obviously it's humorous about auditioning as a whole. But honestly, oftentimes I interview and I meet young actors, people that are first getting into the business, looking into outside of the comedic part of it and the exercise and things. What is one thing that you have found that has helped you most in being persistent in pursuing your passion? Because I see actors constantly giving up all the time, thinking, oh my God. What helps you to persist in doing what you want to do?
Oh, that's a good question. I've always been a pretty positive person. So I've kind of used that as my motivation for like never give up on your dreams. But I think it wasn't until I started working really on myself, I started going to therapy, and I just started changing my mindset and the way I viewed things, because the whole law of attraction and your thoughts becoming reality is very true. And so I think once I really started to feed into that and just realizing that everything happens in the right time, and just if you stay focused and you stay in the game, it will happen. It's a marathon, not a race. So it really does take a long time for things to happen, and I think you have to just know that and just show up. I think the biggest part is showing up, and if you just keep showing up, things will happen. And then also just believe you deserve it. Believe you deserve the roles, believe you deserve the auditions, and believe you deserve to be in the room. And I think that's kind of what I started doing, and here I am.
I noticed when I was watching the film that you have a different array of, well, obviously, you got the one girl who's all into the mindset and peace and harmony, and then of course you've got David's character and an array of different ones. Did you automatically right on the gate say to yourself, okay, I'm going to pick my 5 craziest friends? Did you know these people before you cast them, and moreover, were you type specific about every single person I've ever met at an audition, like hand-picking it yourself and picking those types of characters?
So I think for me, when I was making notes in my head as I started paying attention in audition rooms, the person that stuck out the most was the person that I played, which is the girl who means well, but it's very like, oh my God, can I see your resume? That they mean well, but they don't know about personal boundaries and space. So I knew I wanted to showcase that character. And then from there, I've never actually seen someone doing a full-on yoga routine in an audition room, but I've definitely seen the person that's very like, I need to be zen, like, I need my space. So I just emphasized a full-on yoga routine for comedic effect. And then the beautiful person who walks in the room, I think we've all seen the person who's like, I can get by on my good looks. And I just thought that would be a fun idea to play with, of the person who just shows up and it's just like, I'm gonna be here. And I was like, but that doesn't work. So yeah, I think I knew the blonde girl, Hallie. I actually went to college with her. So I knew her personally. Everyone else I had either met, so Sarah, the casting director with Marianne, I met her working on a production a couple years ago. Everyone else I cast through Backstage or Actors Access. So everyone else I found through casting.
Okay, yeah. I gotcha. Which one of them is most like you?
Most like me?
Yeah.
None of them.
Okay, I was just going to say let's hope
None of them. I'm definitely not that actor who like shows up and is in your space. I might look at your headshot and say, oh, that's a really nice headshot, but I'm definitely not going to be like, oh my God, you worked at that theater? Like, I work there every summer. I think it's just so obnoxious. But I think there are actors who I don't hate to say this, but there are actors who are very much play into that of like, I'm better than you, and feel the need to vocalize that. I think there are some. I don't think they need to be that way. I think it's just they get excited about the things they've worked on, so they want to tell everyone. But thankfully, I don't know any of these any of these characters in real life, so it's just fun to play.
I was curious, this might sound like a really weird question, but I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, I wonder if anybody ever watched the film and kind of got a little offended, like, oh my God, that's me right there on the camera.
Yeah, I wondered. So I had a private screening of this film when it was finished, and most of the people in the room were not actors. So when I initially wrote this film, I think it is very niche. I think it's catered to actors or people in the industry. But what was really cool was watching a room full of non-actors say, these people are all super relatable. In your life, you probably have seen some version of this person in your everyday life. In the workplace somewhere. So I thought that was cool that even though people weren't actors, they still found it relatable and funny. And the whole point of this film is just to make fun of it. It's just a fun film. It's not gonna be Oscar winning. But could it be? I don't know. I think I just who knows, maybe it could be. But I think I just wanted to make a fun film that I thought it was just so funny to sit in the room and I was like, are these people really here in the waiting room? And they don't know what they're doing, and I just thought it was fun to play on that idea. And then how do you add the comedic effect and then relate to your audience with that? So I think that was my main goal.
Now, for some strange reason, when I watched it personally, I almost felt like, was it meant to be longer at one point? Because I was watching it and I'm like, I wonder, could it be a little bit longer? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was not meant to be longer. I decided as my first film that I wanted to do something short because it was my first time filmmaking. It was my first adventure into script writing, and so it was meant to be a short film. But I did have someone say they definitely could see this as like a web series or maybe a sequel and expand on the characters. So I didn't think about that initially, but it is something that I've since thought about, potentially expanding on this idea of these characters in maybe like a web series form or maybe like a sequel of like what happens when they're in the room. I think that's a fun idea to play with, but it wasn't meant to be longer. I think I like keeping it short because it's short to the point, it's funny, and I didn't want to drag it out too long. So I like that sweet spot of 6 minutes because our time for the web is so short. Most people's attention spans are so short. So I wanted to keep it in that frame of like, cool, you watched it. It's 6 minutes out of your day. You can watch it on the train or a festival like this. So it was meant to be short, not necessarily longer.
Now, looking back, because you have mentioned that you're a first-time writer, first-time filmmaker, when you watch it now and you're watching it again and again during the circuit, does something occur to you where you say, okay, now looking back, yeah, I probably should have did this, didn't do this, should have done this. Do you ever look and second guess anything maybe?
Definitely. So when we shot this went through several edits, and when my initial editor, which I'm mad at myself for not picking up on it, the girl in the red, Marasia, her mic pack was showing a lot of the shots, and my director didn't pick up on it, and my DP didn't pick up on it. I was an actor, writer, producer, so on set, I really had to focus on acting, not necessarily producing, and I didn't think about that on set. Hey, her mic pack is showing in the set, let's put a shirt on or something. So it got really tricky when we came to this edit of how do we cut the mic pack out. And so that was something now I'll always pay attention of, like, our mic pack showing. Continuity, another thing I'm learning about, paying attention of, are you using your right arm, are you using your left arm? Because in filmmaking, when you go to edit, when things don't match up, we may not think about it in the long run, but it all does matter. And so I think for the one thing I took away from this, pay attention to everything on set and don't take the shortcut. Because I didn't have a script supervisor, I think I tried to, was like, it's my first film, I need the bare minimum. And so I tried to wear a lot of hats. And my DP and my first AD was great, but I definitely missed steps like continuity, mic pack, things like that. And now I know for future shoots, I need to pay attention. Like a script supervisor, I learned in shooting, I kept saying different words each take. And while you probably don't pick up on it, that also matters because when you go to edit it, if you have to match things together, if you're changing your words every time. For stage, it's a different audience every night. For film, it all matters for continuity. So just little things.
Now, I heard you earlier saying that you have found your inner writer. So if I were to ask you right now, are you a writer at heart or are you now a filmmaker at heart?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, I think you do know.
I found a new love for writing, so I would say writer more so than filmmaker, but I've really enjoyed the filmmaking process of learning how it all works. It's also given me an insight of the casting side, or things on the other side of the table that I never thought about as an actor, of how the big picture comes together, like music and sound and making the big picture. So it's all stuff that I now am more aware of when I do other projects. So I would say more so writer at heart, secondary filmmaker, but still actor first.
Now, just out of curiosity, I have to ask this because the audience may not know this, so please tell everybody all the success you've had with Audition Antics so far.
Yes, so this is our 5th screening. We've gotten into 6 festivals so far. We've screened here. New York Shorts International Film Festival is our first New York premiere. We also screened at New York Shorts Film Festival, or New York Shorts Film Awards, excuse me. And then we're heading to Florida in a month for the Central Florida Film Festival, so that will be our Florida premiere, which is also my hometown, which is pretty exciting. And I hope to be able to take this internationally. I've applied to some international festivals in some other states, so I hope that everybody finds joy in watching the ridiculousness of actors.
Now, and of course, because I'm all about shameless promotion, so tell everybody what Keshia has going on outside of Audition Antics.
Outside of Audition Antics, I also do stand-up comedy, and I just produced my first stand-up show called #BlackGirlMagic, which sold out, was standing room only, and it did so well they want me to bring it back. So I will be doing a next show in October at QED in Astoria. So if you like stand-up, come check that out. So that's exciting.
That's awesome.
And then my second film, which is in post-production, is called Perfect Intervention. Like purr, like a cat, because it's about a cat lady intervention.
Yeah.
I was watching the show Intervention one day, and I thought it would be really funny if somebody threw an intervention for a cat lady. That idea is just so funny to me. So I wrote a film about a girl who's a cat lady and her friends throw an intervention and they hire an interventionist to come in and help her. And you'll have to find out what happens when you watch it.
So, that's awesome. Now, let me just tell you, I will just tell you what I liked about the movie, which is obvious. First of all, number 1, it's hilarious. Number 2, we all know that actor. Every one of those actors in that room has behaved at some given point in time like that, even some personification of it. But most importantly, I always give props, which I said at the beginning of the blog, to anybody who's a first-time actor. It's so scary, and especially in New York, because there's so much competition, to be a first-time writer, first-time filmmaker. I think you did amazingly well. I think the casting was lovely. I love Nick. Oh my God, he is adorable.
He was perfect. I watched I did self-tapes only for my audition. I didn't do a live audition because time frame.
Sure.
And he sent in a self-tape, and as soon as I watched his tape, I was like, this is my guy. He nailed it on the head.
Absolutely.
He just embodied. We needed someone who was young, who felt like it was their new first audition in New York, and he embodied so much of that. And just the ensemble that we had, I think we had a really great ensemble cast. It's very much an ensemble piece. And I think every person brought some joy, like so much energy and spark to it. Like even in that whole section at the end was all improv, and we just ran the camera, and each person got to do a little take, and we got to see what they brought. And I love the fiddler, the Spanish fiddler on the roof.
Yes.
He was so funny. Yeah, I just thought it was great. It was a joy to work on this film. I feel very lucky, and I'm still very humbled by all the people who are still laughing at my film.
And yes, you should, I've been writing a very long time, so I have to say I'm very proud of you, not to sound facetious at all, but you did a wonderful job. I know that I keep saying the nominations are not coming out until Saturday, they're not supposed to, but you should probably come to the awards on Sunday because yes, you are nominated.
Oh,
I'm not going to tell you what for, I'm just going to tell you that you are
That's
nominated.
exciting.
Yes. So, yes, please support Keshia's efforts. I'd like to take a quick photo with you, and we'll get
let's do
assisted
that.
suicide folks up here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we just won Best Ensemble at Grove Film Festival in New Jersey, so I officially have an award-winning film.
Yes, you do.
Very excited. Thank you guys. I hope you guys had a good laugh at.
Oh.